Thank you, Gina Smialek.
Hi, Chair Powell. Gina Smialek from the New York Times. Thank you for taking our questions. I was hoping that you would first react to the wild ride that GameStop stock has had this week. And then secondarily, you and your colleagues have repeatedly made it clear that you really plan to use macroprudential tools as a first line of defense when it comes to financial stability risks, but your macroprudential tools primarily apply to the banks. I'm wondering what your plan is if you see some sort of large financial stability risk emanating from the non-bank financial sector in the coming months, especially as it relates to search for yield kind of activities. What do you see as the solution there? Thanks.
So on your first question, I don't want to comment on a particular company or day's market activity or things like that. It's just not really something that I would typically comment on. In terms of macroprudential policy tools, so as you know, no doubt, we rely on sort of always on through the cycle macroprudential policy tools, particularly the stress tests and also the elevated levels of liquidity and capital and also resolution planning that we impose on the largest financial institutions. We don't use time-varying tests and tools as some other countries do, and we think it's a good approach because for us to use ones that are always on, because we don't really think we'd be successful in every case in picking the exact right time to intervene in markets. So that's for banks. You really asked about non-banks, the non-bank sector, and so we monitor financial conditions very broadly, and while we don't have jurisdiction over many areas in the non-bank sector, other agencies do, and so we do coordinate through the Financial Stability Oversight Council and with other agencies who have responsibility for non-bank supervision. And in fact, as you know, in the last crisis, the banking system held up fairly well so far. And the dislocations that we saw from the outsized economic and financial shock of the pandemic really appeared in the non-bank sector. So that's right now we are engaged in carefully examining, understanding, and thinking about what in the non-bank sector will need to be addressed in the next year or so.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.